ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast. Thanks so much for being here. We're so glad to hear. Just real quick before we get started, make sure you subscribe down here. Make sure you subscribe down here to the podcast and take that share link. There's a little share link down there. Hit share and put that on your Facebook. Put that on your Twitter. Put that on whatever social media you use. That's going to help us grow the podcast. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to grow the podcast. We're here to start an empire. You know what I'm talking about? We don't want to just fucking be doing the podcast for no reason. That's the whole point. We want to make a living doing this. I spend a lot of time building the studio. It looks different every week. Every week you get on here, it looks different. Maybe next week you get on here, it's going to look the same. I bet it is going to look the same. I'll tell you how I know it's going to look the same. I mounted the fucking cameras to the ceiling. I've stapled shit to the ground. It's not going to be able to move after this. There's cables running up into the shit. There's no way it's going to change after this. So, it used to be cameras. Look.
Used to be cameras all over the place. Cameras over there, cameras close together, cameras far apart, cameras too far apart, cameras too close together. We're not going to be doing that anymore. You know why? I've drilled into the ceiling. I was going to build I had a plan to do a big, as always, in the classic way things go for me, I was going to go way too extra, way too overboard. I was going to build a rail system. I spent a whole day making notes, and I made a blueprint, all this stuff. I didn't go CAD on them. I didn't go CAD on their ass. I could have. I took IT in high school. But there was this thing's called Unistrut, and it essentially allows you to take trolleys and make a track out of shit. So I was going to take two and put them stationary to the ceiling and then make one. Anyway, it was going to allow me to put the camera anywhere I want in a vertical position and in a horizontal position on the ceiling. So essentially anywhere inside the rail system, I could put my camera at that point. And then I realized it was a stupid fucking waste of money and time. And what I'm doing is not that real. And also the hardest part of it was all the materials they make for that shit are it's the heaviest thing you've ever seen in your life. I might have ripped the ceiling out of my house trying to install that. They make sliding doors with little tiny aluminum. I got little baby cameras. Why can't I just get a rail? I probably could have put I had a little Shades of Mythbusters in there. I was going to get into it. I was going to build a whole thing. Then I found these little curtain rod holders, and that did it. Hey, I destroyed engineering. Not even worth it. It's only, it's only worth I got to start learning how to I can't keep putting too much effort and money into nonsense. I can take a little curtain rod holder and connect it to my tripod, screw that in the ceiling. That's going to be, it's going to save me a ton of money. I bought 30 of those curtain rod holders on Amazon. Anywhere I want to put a camera, just put one of those babies. So that's what's going on with me lately. Hopefully, just so you know, the podcast, it'll continue to evolve and change, and we'll have a guest on next week's episode. That'll be exciting. We're going to have, I believe my friend Matt Boyd is going to be on the podcast, Nashville comedian, so make sure you come back for that one. But what's going on with me this week? What's going on with me? Coronavirus is still happening. We all know. Is it going to be forever? We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to... You know what I do know what's going to happen is tomorrow I'm going to sleep until after noon. Again, that's what I'm going to do. Every day. Every day I'm going to sleep until after 12 p.m. That's what I do now. I get paid by the government, baby. I technically get... I'm trying to get people to pay me to do my podcast. I technically get paid. I am already getting paid to do this. I get paid to do whatever I decide to do. That's my life now. I get paid to do whatever. When I wake up in the morning and I go, maybe you don't wake up in the morning. Maybe you wake up at night. Maybe you sleep for intermittent 4-hour periods. You're up for 4 hours. You're asleep for 4 hours, up for 4 hours. My roommates, they own rabbits, right? They got some bunnies. These rabbits, they're up for 20 minutes and they sleep for 5 minutes. It's their entire life. Their whole life. Up for 20, and then somewhere in that 20, most of the time they're eating, and they'll drink a little water, and they get excited. They'll jump around whatever area they're in, and then they get tired. They lay down, take a nap for 5 minutes, and that's it. They don't sleep for longer than that, take little naps. That's their whole existence, and there's only people will keep them alive. These are not rabbits that they got long hair, and they're weak. You know what is crazy about them? They are self-aware animals. You know, you'll see a cat. A cat will get, I saw a video from my friend Taylor Williams today. She had her new kitten was on a table, and it got its claws, and it skated and fell off the table, right? This rabbit would never do that because it's it's like a skid. It's going to test its weight. It's not going to make an ignorant decision. It's going to get it killed. If anything, when you think about fight or flight, this is an animal that's going to stay completely still and just get murdered by whatever's coming after it. So that's what's going on, I forget whatever made me bring that up. My house is falling apart, though. I do know that. My house, dude, I've about had it. I've moved into this new house. You guys, if you saw the first couple episodes of the podcast, maybe you could tell I'm in a different space. We moved into this house, man, and we moved during Corona. I don't know if you've ever moved during a global pandemic. It's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do. First of all, your landlord's pissed at you because when you move out of a house, a landlord's got to paint, they got to look at the floors, and they got to, revamp the house. And we moved out, kind of towards the beginning of coronavirus. I'm sure this guy, there's zero way that he was going to get a crew to come in and work on stuff. Also, he's the cheapest piece of shit that's ever existed. So he wasn't going to pay to work on stuff. And so he was very annoyed, and he tried to kind of bully us into not moving, which was very weird. But we found, which doesn't happen in Nashville very often, we found a house that was very nice, a house that we liked, right? This house I just moved into, this house got 2 ovens. Have you ever lived in a house with 2 ovens? We moved into this house, got brand new stainless steel appliances, and what we figured out about the house is that's probably the only good thing about the house. When you put stainless steel appliances into a place, you kind of trick people into being like, oh, this is a luxurious place, at least if you're a poor young person like me. You can just take... Well, we found out, my roommate looked at pictures of my house on the internet. The house, there's old pictures on some old realty site. It's 100% was a crack house. There's a 0% chance that this... First of all, 0% chance that there hasn't been a crack party where people were fucking chilling, sleeping on the floor for a day like Breaking Bad. Also 0% chance that there's not a haunted ghost from a murder in my apartment. Or it's not an apartment. This is a nice house. We got a deck. We got 2 ovens, stovetop, dishwasher, badass fridge with the ice machine and the water. But got a lot of other bad stuff going on. We moved in here I came over here to clean. None of the outlets work in the entire house. We're moving in. We've already signed the lease. None of the outlets work. So I'm like, well, we got to fucking call somebody about this. So we call somebody, they come out, they fix some outlets. And then we buy a washer dryer. I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast. My dryer does not work. Dryer still doesn't work. I've lived in this house for 2 months. My dryer washer worked fine. Washer worked immediately. I don't know if you know this. Washer not so good without dryer. Washer not so good without dryer. What are you going to do with your clothes when you get them wet? You got to fucking dry them like a pilgrim. So we have our deck. What we dedicate our deck to, we're hanging laundry on it. That's what we're doing. So within the first week and a half of living here, we made a maintenance request. That's what you do. When you have a rental company, you make a maintenance request. What does a maintenance request mean? I think they take your message, your email, and they print it out on a paper and wad it up and just throw it in the trash. That's what they do. They don't fucking read it. They don't communicate with each other. This is me. I'm just going to vent about my housing problems. I'm just fucking so pissed about this dryer, dude. It's so annoying. It's good for my graphic tees that I haven't been drying them. I'll tell you that much. But I hate the fucking... What I hate is people that can't do a competent job. That's what makes me feel uncomfortable. Like, I can work with equipment that's not great, or the house isn't so great. I can work with all that. This is the nicest house I've ever lived in, even still with all the problems. You don't even know it yet. It's still nicer than every house I've ever lived in because of the 2 ovens. The 2 ovens have made a huge difference to me. Have I used them both at the same time yet? No. What could I use them both for at the same time? Maybe I'll make a bunch of casseroles. Maybe I'll decide to throw Thanksgiving. Maybe that's what I'll do. But this guy, so we have all these problems with the electricity. Dryer doesn't work. They send an electrician to come to the house. This guy shows up. He's got a blonde mullet, first of all. And I forget what he did the first time this is what he did. He showed up, and he goes into where the water heater was. The water when we first moved in, ice cold. Ice cold. Couldn't have been colder. There's never been colder water in a shower than when I moved into this house. So we made a maintenance request for that. and the dryer thing at the same time. It's the first two problems. So homeboy comes in. I had done research about the water heater because I tried to fix it myself. I'm not some do-nothing nobody. I'll figure it out. I'll do it by myself. So I even called the company for the water heater. I went through the whole thing. What we figured out, I'm not getting power to the water heater. That's what we figured out. So we call them. I tell him that. What I learned about water heaters, you are not supposed to work on them with the power on. If you're going to work on a water heater at all, if you're going to adjust the temperature, you're going to do anything, you need to shut off the power at the breaker. So when he got there, I said, hey, man, I've been working on this thing a little bit. I'm going to go over here. I'll shut off the power for you on the breaker. Because also the breaker box, which you don't know, the breaker box is in my roommate's room. There are two girls that are girlfriends, and they was early in the morning, and they were in their sleep. So I was like, this guy, I don't want him to go in with the girlfriends, so I'll go in there. I'll turn off the thing, right? So I turn it off. I come back. I show him the thing, and then he's like, well, I don't know what's up with the thing. I don't even know if the power's on. So I'm going to go turn the power back on. And he just ran past me, goes in there. He goes, hey, I'm coming in here, girl, with this blonde mullet. Like the worst Alan Jackson, like a C-list Alan Jackson. It's horrible. Like a D- Alan Jackson. And he just walks in. He turns the power back on. And then he proceeds to start working on the water heater. Literally he tells about 30, 45 seconds ago, he goes, hey, it's on. I got it working. Here was the issue. One of your wire nuts was loose, so the power wasn't going. That means there's a little copper nut, right, that connects to make sure that it's connected, like, tight, so that the wire for the power is connected to the water heater. He just tightened that shit with the fucking power on. Like, it wouldn't, like, with a metal tool, he tightened the metal, copper bolt to copper wire with power running through it. So I got really, like, and then our water was hot, which was nice. But then the dryer, he's like, I don't know what's going on with this dryer, but I got shit going on today. He literally was like, I got a lot of stuff going on today, so I got to get out of here. He comes back the next week. We got to go a whole week without the dryer, without them coming back. The next time he shows up, he's on crutches and a boot. And I'm like, what the hell happened to you, man? What's going on? He was like, oh, at that other job I had last week, I sawed through my foot. That's what he said. So not only did he almost electrocute and kill himself inside of our residence with his blonde mullet, he comes back a week later with a sawed-up foot that he sawed into his own foot at a job working on a bathroom. Are there a lot of bathroom jobs that require saw? I don't know. This guy's the fucking... If there's one thing I can't stand, is a lack of safety. I mean, I'm not like a person, like a typical, like a medium degenerate like myself. I'm not going to be you wouldn't peg me as a big safety advocate. Pretty big into say. There was some guy that came and installed our internet. He got up on a ladder for like 5 seconds. I started sweating. I was like, man, can I hold the ladder for you? I get like so freaked out about power. So the house troubles continue. The dryer continues to not work. We buy a dryer. It doesn't work. The guy tells us it should be working. Your dryer must be broken. You bought a broken dryer. So we're pissed. Can't really do anything about it, so we just buy another dryer. Go out, buy the dryer. Even go out, I buy another dryer cord. I fucking hook the shit up, plug it in. That dryer doesn't work. So now I've got 2 dryers. I'm in possession. I own 2 dryers. How many dryers work, David? 0 dryers. None of the dryers work. So now I'm washing clothes. I'm fucking taking them. I hang them up on my deck. I let them dry. I have an Asian neighbor. I think she's like a Filipino. She speaks an Asian language. I definitely don't know what it is. She has a little child. She's old, but the child's muy pequeño. So he's out there just like helping her do yard work or whatever. Like this, who's the guy from the Indiana Jones? Little pork pot, little pot pie guy. Jesus Christ, what am I even talking about? My house is falling. I'm getting so fucking tired of it. I haven't left. What's crazy? I don't even realize how little I leave my house anymore. I don't go anywhere. There's nowhere to go. I used to spend all my life, all the time. I'm hanging out, go do a comedy club, go do things. I don't leave my bedroom for hours at a time. That's the life now. I've built a studio. If this room, I could weld the door shut. I could just live in here now. That's what goes on here. I could go out to the street. I pick up my Postmates. I live that way now. I just subscribe for ButcherBox. I'm not even gonna go to the store anymore. I subscribe for. Not only do I subscribe for ButcherBox, $150 a month for like 14 pounds of meat. Pretty decent deal. I also subscribe to HelloFresh, which is going to deliver me 4 meals, complete meals a week for me to cook recipes because I'm bored as fuck. But I'm going to have a lot of trouble doing that. You know why? Because my kitchen sink, the plumbing that runs into the ground is fucked in my house. So we just found out our kitchen sink, as soon as we moved in, it would just fill up with water randomly. Like you would take a shower somewhere in the house, and then the shower would just fill up with water. So, like, not only does the dryer not work, we got these fucking mystery, like, water just rises up and fills up the sink for no reason, even if you didn't put any fucking water in the sink. It's like an insane... it's like a ghost is haunting the house. It's like a fucking... It's poltergeist activity. So we had some guy come to check out the plumbing. He's got a fucking industrial snake. He's like... He tries to snake the thing. It doesn't work. He's like, I've never seen it clog like this. Nothing's working. He's like, I got to call the guy that hired me because there's a piece of equipment I can rent, but it's insanely expensive. It's like, the guy told it, he was like, could you imagine a piece of plumbing equipment that's so expensive? He's like, I really got to call the boss for approval before if we're going to employ this strategy, we got to be sure that's our only choice left. So he did it. He gets the fucking whatever the thing was. Didn't work. 100% didn't work. So what they told us they're going to have to do, they're going to have to go into the ceiling in the basement and just cut out the whole ceiling. They're going to cut out the ceiling, and they're going to fix the pipes. But what that means is that we can't use our kitchen water system, dishwasher, sink, whatever, at all until they fix it, which has been over a week and a half. So they told us, they were like, so our dryer doesn't work. I'm drying clothes on my deck. We've made a clothesline on the deck, so I'm drying clothes outside. I can't wash the dishes, and we had neglected the dishes a little bit by the time we found that out. So we had to wash, we couldn't just leave the dishes it's been a week and a half. So we took the dishes outside, washed them with the garden hose. We're outside like the goddamn Amish, drying our clothes in the wind and washing dishes in the backyard, like scrubbing. I need like a washboard. Just throw out the washing machine. I don't understand what's next. Like if the toilets blow up, I'm just going to go walk outside. I'm going to start taking shits in the ground. Dig a hole and shit in the ground. I don't know how much more. I mean, I'm normally like a pretty zen, calm person. And I am that way. Like I have been that way, right? I even got my roommates they've been so pissed about this stuff. We got into like an argument over that. I was just like, hey, everybody just be chill. And they're like, it's impossible. They're like, it's impossible to be calm right now. But I just hate freaking out, you know? But there's a quarantine. All of us have lost our jobs. Everybody, 4 people live with, none of us have jobs. We had to move in the middle of the pandemic. No dryer. Drying clothes in the wind. We're fucking washing our clothes in or washing our dishes in a gravel pit. That's what we do now. And now they're going to drill into our ceiling above where, thank God it's not in here. Where my other roommates live in their bedroom, just the whole area above their bed, they're just going to cut the whole fucking ceiling out. And then, not only did we find that, our plumber guy called an electrician for us to come fix the dryer situation, right? Because they're telling us the dryer thing works. How on earth could you buy 2 broken dryers? Could it ever happen? You know, what are the fucking odds? So the electrician guy comes, he's checking stuff out, and he calls us in there, and he's like, hey, man, I got to show you this stuff. He starts taking light fixtures out of the ceiling. He's pointing to stuff in the utility closet. He goes, hey, all this in here, there's all this exposed copper wire that's got electricity running through that's powering your house. So he's telling us there's like wires that are running this way, wires that are running this way, all the shit inside the thing where you have to stick your hand to put the light bulb. There's just hot wires that can just fucking electrocute and kill you. And then not only does he tell us that, he says behind this water heater here, there's the hose for your gas. I'm back in here. There's a gas leak back here. We pay for gas heat, right? Gas heat. Gas heat. That's what we pay for. We don't pay for gas water, but we pay for gas heat. And he said there's a gas hose back. I think you guys have a gas leak. You need to call the gas company. So he leaves. Not only does he tell us that, he says the gas with this wire situation, if these wires that are running hot next to each other, if they spark, it could fucking blow up your house. That's the reason. So the dryer outlet works fine. That's all I want to do is dry my fucking clothes at this point. And he's like, hey, man. He's like, hey, just want to let you know, gas leak in your home. Don't know how long that's been going on. I don't know if you ever dealt with that. It sounds pretty dangerous. But you should call the gas company. Also, there's just electric power spark wires running through your house that could blow up where you live at any moment. So we call the gas company, and we tell them what the guy told us. This is what they say. They say, go outside now, right now. They said, go outside now, and don't. We're like, are you going to need us? Like, answer they said, just go outside. We'll find you there. Just get out of there. So what they're telling me is that I've been just living with the gas leak, and the people on the phone with the gas company, they're just straight up telling us, they're like, we don't know how you're not dead. They're like, if this guy's telling us the truth, we don't know how you're alive at this point. So we just go outside. I'm pissed. I was asleep because it was fucking 1 in the afternoon. I'm asleep, but it's my sleeping hours now. That's when I sleep now. So I go outside. It's the hot southern heat in the South right now. It's in the beginning of August. So we go outside. We're waiting on the gas company. The guy gets there. As he's in there sweeping, he's got a fucking gas mask, ventilator, giant thing, and it's coronavirus. So he's just in our house walking around. We can see him with his fucking Darth Vader rig on. And then we're sitting out there talking, and I was like, when I was fixing that water heater back when it didn't have power, I called that company. And that's when I figured out that the water's not gas. Because that model, I asked them, is there any danger working on this because it's a gas? They were like, that's not a gas water heater. This is electric. It's the company that makes the water heater. They said, that's not a gas water heater. That's electric water heater. So I'm telling them that. We're having a conversation with the roommates, and I'm like, it's weird that the guy says that the water heater's leaking gas. I'm under the impression water heater didn't run gas. And they were like, well, that's what... And right at that moment, the guy comes out. Right? Guy comes out. He takes off his thing, and he's like, hey, so that guy said you had a gas leak? And I was like, I knew what he was going to say. It's one of those crazy, like, serendipitous universe moments where it's like Seinfeld. We're, like, sitting there talking, and I'm, like, about to discover the point with it where I'm like, I don't know shit about electricity, and I don't know shit about gas. But I know that shit doesn't run on gas. And I was like, should I say it? I don't know if I should question. They know more than I know. And the guy's like, that guy told you that water heater had a gas leak? Water heater didn't even run on gas. So we had been called. We don't know how you've been alive for weeks with a gas leak in your home. We're outside. They're all freaking out. I'm like, don't freak out. It's fine. They're like, we should be freaking out. And then the guy comes out. Nothing's wrong. So we just got to go. And guess what? We go back and say, dryer still doesn't work. Dryer still doesn't work. Sink still doesn't work. So it's just like every time it's like we're trying to fix a problem, it's like, well, this thing is, well, now there's a gas leak. We're trying to fix the dryer. You should have been dead already. It's incredible, dude. It's been such a goddamn headache. There's other things, so many other things that are going on with the house. It can't even like bear to even fucking deal with it. I had to buy fucking $400 in land. That's actually been relaxing. I've been doing landscaping, doing a lot of lawn work. When I get stressed at being in the house with nothing to do because of a coronavirus, I go out and I just mow the yard. I've been mowing my yard in different patterns. Like I've been turning into a barber for my lawn. I'm like doing different zigzag. Like you know how you pull past someone's house and they got like an unbelievable pattern. They're like, damn, it's like golf course quality yard. I've been out there doing that. I've been edging. I've been out.
That's what I've been doing. I've been edging out here, dude. I've been out here edging my sidewalk, bro.
Nah, I bought a weed eater. I went all electric. I've got the gas lawnmower. I went gas lawnmower, electric weed eater, and I bought an air blower. I bought a leaf blower. First time ever, dude. So I'm very excited to transition. Sometimes at night, it's nice and cool outside. I'll walk out on the front porch. I'll just look at the lawn. I'm like, yeah, dude.
You motherfucking did that shit. You did it. You mowed that lawn. I'm a man. I'm a grown-ass adult. I mow a fucking lawn.
I wash dishes in my backyard. I hang my clothes on a deck like a pilgrim. I shit in the backyard in a hole. That's what I do. I'm a fucking man. Jesus Christ, dude. So that's how hectic life's been for me right now. I'm trying to stay chill. I'm trying to focus on the podcast. I'm constantly changing the studio. I'm drilling into the ceiling. I'm building railway systems. I'm trying to fucking keep it together. I'm getting paid by the government. That's what I'm doing. But it's been, hopefully for you it's been going okay. Hopefully everybody's life has been disrupted. I'm not one of these people that's like all, some people, it really shows how focused they are on themselves when they're like so upset about their life. My life has always been disrupted. It's never been like non-disrupted. It's always been one thing or another has been disrupting my life. Maybe that's sad. Maybe that's like a sad thing, but it's like, I'm not like one of these people. There's this guy, I think I talked about in the last episode. I got in an argument with him about, he's protesting, going out in Nashville and protesting to reopen on Broadway because he's a Broadway guitar. He was one of these guys that's hooked up with these fucking clubs that he plays the guitar at a venue and shit. Or he's in a touring band and stuff like that. I'm just like, I can't believe that certain people are so selfish, dude. It's hard not to talk about that right now because I'm like fucking trying to stay chill and be cool and just stay at the house and be enterprising. I'm doing a podcast now. I do the podcast. I'm trying to work on helping other people do. This is like the new future of comedy. I like being involved in comedy, so I'm trying to learn this shit. And I am. But other people, they're like, they're taking it the complete opposite way. Like, this is something that's been inflicted on them, It's just, so that's fucking frustrating as shit, I don't know, man. Shit is just so fucked right now. I just don't know if will anything go back to normal? Will it ever be in normal? What's crazy is just how people just accept shit. People just be like, yeah, it's just how it is now. Just like, I took an Uber the other day and some lady was telling me about her kids going back to school. She was like, yeah, kids in all the other counties in Tennessee, they're going back to school 3 days a week in person and 2 days a week at home. So like in different groups, the kids are like 3 days they're there, 2 days they're home. But in Davidson County, where I live in Nashville, everybody's home 5 days a week. So, I mean, like, what would it be like to be in school right now? And it's like life changed for me once I could start drinking and I live by myself. I was like, oh, I get it. I'm like a real person. I'm like, I have it. Nothing's like that crazy extraordinary anymore. It's like when you're a kid, it's like there's always a new thing. It's like I'm in high school now. I'm in a fucking going to the prom. I'm driving a car. I'm getting a job. It's like all that shit's new. Everything's new all the time. Now it's like, what's new? Nothing's new. So to be like, the new thing is just like now I don't go to work ever. It's like just my life. Like, we'll pay you bills, you stay home. That's the deal now? It's like, all right. For like a kid, it's like maybe kids are going over to each other's house all the time. They're playing fucking sports. They're doing whatever. And then now it's just like all done. It's all over. I bet it's so crazy to be a kid right now, dude. Maybe bad segue. D'elia's doing comedy shows. Hey, man. No, it's horrible. D'elia. I saw that. I mean, comedy is off. I mean, people are doing drive-in shows everywhere, which I guess is okay. The open mics in Nashville, there's some open mics going on. And I've seen comedy shows in clubs and different. I don't know how those are going on, though. Like, in different states. Like, I saw one in a club somewhere in California. A couple different places in California. Definitely not in Los Angeles. I know that much. I saw some stuff. I might have seen something in New York. But Nashville, I mean, no shows in the club in Nashville. I know that much. I mean, maybe I mean, nobody keeps me updated anymore, so I don't know what the fuck's going on. But Chris D'elia apparently is doing, I think it's the Pasadena Improv. He's doing some Chris D'elia working out new material shows in mid-September. So who knows if they'll get canceled or not. I mean, they probably will, but Chris D'elia is canceled already. So I don't know what's he going to talk about? These working out new material shows, when somebody builds a show like that, normally it means, like Louis did it. I've seen Aziz Ansari do it. I think Chris Rock has done it. And that typically means it's like a crazy strict no cell phones. You're not allowed to be on your phones thing. So I don't see them enforcing some kind of yonder bag thing when it's coronavirus. Like, how can you get people to like let you put their phone in a little bag when it's like other people touching their phone's going in a thing, the bag is going to that, phone's been with them. So I don't see that going on. So, I mean, I guess the staff is just going to be on, like, but what's he going to talk about? Chris D'Elia's stand-up is always, like, he's not some, like, irreverent talking about stuff comic. So when people come out to that, what's he going to be silly about right now? I mean, maybe his kid. He just had a little baby, just had a little kid. So maybe he'll talk about that. But, I mean, like, man, I'd be curious to see him come back and do a podcast. I bet that shit would be... Like, after a certain amount of time, when the news cycle just had enough other celebrities to eat up, I bet he could just come back and just be doing comedy and doing his podcast. And it's not going to be that big of a deal, you know? But, like, his homie Bryan Callen just got caught up. And he came out on social media, and he made a video that was like, I'm not going to let this affect me. I'm not going to be like... You know, one of these, everyone's telling me to be quiet and just let the news cycle pass me by, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go out there and let people know what's going on. But also, I'm going to be taking a hiatus from the podcast for a while. So he came out and he's like, I reject these accusations completely and wholly. I have never done any of these things that I've been accused of, and I'm not going to stand idly by and be silenced while somebody's accusing me. Also, I'm going to be taking a leave of absence from a podcast for a while. I mean, how can you do that? How can you be like, I'm not going to, everyone's telling me to be quiet, not going to be quiet. Also, you're not going to be hearing from me for a while. It just seems like a little bit of a silly thing to do. I mean, Bryan Callen, I met Bryan Callen before. I've met Bryan Callen. Never met Chris D'elia. I met Bryan Callen. What did I think of him? Didn't like him. Gotta say. It's a little bit of a selfish reason. It's a little bit of a bias. Here's the deal. I don't find it hard to believe the accusation. I'm not saying that he did that he R-worded to some lady, you know, that he did a rape on somebody. I'm not saying, I don't know if he did it or he didn't do it, you know, but I am saying that I believe that he is a piece of shit. Because I was seeing a girl, I was dating the girl, you could call it that, and he came up to her, and he was headlining the comedy club, right? And it's during the show before he goes on stage, and she's in the kitchen, she's doing some work stuff in the kitchen, and he walks up and catches her off or whatever, starts chatting her up, talking to her, and he's flirting with her. You could tell. She said you could tell he was flirting with her, and she told him her name, whatever they're talking. So he goes to leave, and he calls her the wrong name, right? So I won't say her name, but he was like, whatever, you know, Beth, it was nice to meet you. Called her the wrong name, and she goes, oh, that's not my name, whatever, but I can go by like a alter ego or whatever, you know. Or I forget what she said. I can go by like another name. And she's like, oh, yeah. And he goes, yeah, that's cool. I can too. You can call me Daddy. That's what he said to her, right? Which is like a crazy thing to say to a stranger, right? You know? But homeboy was like newly divorced, so he's out there. He's out there doing it. He's out there prowling. He's out there being predatory. You know what I'm saying? So I can get how he could do some shit that's like offhand. You know, a lot of people say, well, there's a story that's been going around that's like he was on Whitney Cummings' podcast, or Whitney Cummings was on his podcast, and he's talking about he did something in a car with her where he just like took his dick out, you know? And I guess that, I mean, they're all laughing, so she was fine, whoever was there, they're fine. I don't know anybody that I'm fine with taking my penis out or whatever. But anyway, he's hitting on a girl that I was dating. That's what's important. That's what I'm outraged about. So he after she told me that interaction happened, I proceeded to like witness him hitting on her in front of me, in front of the whole staff, like all weekend long. And it really bothered me, and it made me hate him. So do I think he's a rapist? Yes. Yes. I can't stand that guy. Oh my God. There's a picture. Maybe I can put that shit in post or something, wherever. But I liked Bryan Callen. I liked his podcast, I'm not going to lie. And then I met him, and he was hitting on a girl that I was dating. And what was funny is that he's rich, right? He's so rich. Because he's not like so rich, but he's like way richer than me, you know? He owns a home and a car and has a family. And it's like he's like bad like 1,000 compared to me, you know? Like he's also like 100 years older than I am. But, you know, whatever. I bet he would trade to be in my shoes, even though I bet he'd trade his millions to be. Jesus Christ. I was so irritated by that shit, dude. It was such a primal thing to be like a guy. He doesn't know that I'm seeing her. He has no idea. And I liked his podcast. But when I heard his voice, he using his voice to flirt with this girl, and then it's like after that, it's like, how could I listen to his podcast again after that? I can't think this guy's funny. He's fucking threatening me. This motherfucking guy's threatening me. So, yeah, did Bryan Callen rape somebody? I think he did. Because he hit on a girl that I liked. And that's unfair. You know, in front of all these people, he kept telling her, dude, as it was like the weekend was over, it was like Sunday night or Saturday night, and he was like, he was done. He wasn't going to perform the next day. He's like, yeah, we're going out to have drinks with somebody at this place, and he was inviting her only. Like, you only. Everybody, there's so many people around, and he's like fucking locked in, talking, like, you can come why don't you come stay at the condo with me? You can come I'll fly you to Los Angeles. He's saying all this stuff. Infuriating, dude. There's a picture of me fucking just scowling with this guy. I mean, I had planned on taking a Polaroid picture with him because I take pictures with a lot of comics that I like, and I'll get him to sign it or something or not, or I'll just, just keep it, for memories. And, I took I was committed to taking the picture, so I took the picture, and I was very unsatisfied. Also, stand-up sucks. Oh, can I not say that? Oh, I'm sorry.
Can I not say that? Can I not say a stand-up sucks? Can I not say Bryan Callen's a rapist? He is.
God, fuck that guy. I hope one day I meet him, dude. I'm able to forgive him. I hope one day I am. Not right now, though. Today's not the day. I can't. It's so crazy to be like, to have like your man. I'm not a guy that's like a man. I'm like my manhood gets threatened or something. But in a lot of that anger is like a joke for me. But this was like, I honestly was like, I don't like this guy anymore. I was like, I dislike him now. Don't like him. And I was like, if I didn't want to be a comedian, if I was just some ignoramus, maybe I would like fight this guy. Maybe I would commit a criminal arson against where he was asleep. Maybe that's what I would do. I don't know. But oh my God, dude, it's not good to have a celebrity guy with, and she thought it was funny that I was gonna get mad about it, which it was. I'm sure it was funny to see me get upset about it. But she wasn't gonna go with the guy because the guy wanted to sleep with her, and she's got intimacy problems, so she doesn't like sleeping with people. So she definitely wasn't gonna go do that. So honestly, at the end of the day, I think we all knew what was gonna happen. She wasn't gonna go with him, and it was fine. But fuck Bryan Callen now, and Bryan Callen's a rapist.
Bryan Callen, look, man, you're never gonna see this, but I think maybe take it easy for a while. Maybe lay off of doing comedy. Maybe stay out of the podcast game. Maybe leave it to the new age. Maybe leave it to the new era. Maybe let me get out there. Let me talk to a couple of maybe I'll show you how it's done by respecting women. I'll show you how to tell. I'll respect you. I'll tell you what. This is what I do.
I respect women so much, I don't even hit on them ever. I don't even let a woman know that I'm interested. That's how much respect I have. If I was a woman that I was interested in, I'd be like, am I interested in you? Ugh. No, absolutely not. Am I attracted to you? No. That's how much respect I have. I won't even be attracted to women anymore. Bryan Callen. So if you that's the new age of comedy, baby. That's the new podcasters. That's what we're going to do. We're going to respect women so much that there's no enjoyable human activity to have. Yeah.
So that's what you got to look forward to, everybody. We're all gonna be out here fucking living life, fucking not engaging in an intimate activity because we're nervous and we don't know how to connect to each other. We don't know how to take risks. That's what we're gonna do because that's the future, baby. That's the future we all want. That's the future I want.
That's the future everybody wants. So... You would think so if you heard the way people talk, dude. It is hard. Imagine now, it was so hard to connect before. Now it's everybody's going to die of a virus. Now everybody is fucking like afraid. Not only is it like people are afraid, like they don't know what each other's boundaries are or what is able to be accepted, so more and more people are just not in contact. Now it's like you can't even fucking touch a stranger. Or you're going to give them a germ from everybody you've ever met. Everyone has AIDS now. That's what we're figuring out. I'm not going to the store anymore. I'm getting my groceries delivered by mail. I just flashed a little fucking monitor action on you. Oh, my God, dude. This podcast will be better in the future. A lot of doing a podcast just putting the work in, you know? That's most of a podcast. That's most of getting started. I'm on episode 5? Was it supposed to be great? No, it's not supposed to be great. It's just supposed to exist. It's just, I got 82 people that'll listen to it. Fuck, who cares? 82 people? If I told another self-respecting comic I do a podcast, it's like, how many people listen to it? And it's like 200. It's like, kill yourself. Commit suicide today. That's what it would. Buy a gun, sell your podcast equipment to a pawn shop, and go, look, I'll trade you all this gear for one gun and one round of ammunition to kill myself. That's what a comic will tell you. A lot of comics. That's what Bryan Callen will tell you. That's what Bryan Callen tells all female comics. He goes, look, if you're not going to sleep with me, you might as well kill yourself. That's what he says. Look.
You think Bryan Callen isn't telling female comics if they're not going to sleep with them that they need to commit suicide?
You're wrong. That's what he says every time. He goes, oh, what, are you not going to come with me to the condo to drink and you work for me now? Kill yourself. I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. That's the future comedy, though. It's like either have a great podcast and get people on it and get sponsors. Look, I'm not only am I going to be a ButcherBox customer, I'm also trying to get them to sponsor the podcast. I'm not only going to be a HelloFresh customer. They're going to sponsor the podcast. I'm just getting I'm figuring out how they do business so I can market to them. So I can figure out, look, I'll eat ButcherBox, then I'll start doing a ButcherBox podcast. That's what I'm going to do. That's the future. It's like, what do I need? It's like, I need ammunition. I'm doing an ammunition podcast now. I'm talking about grains to whatever. However, I'm going to learn. Adapt or survive, baby. It's podcasting and survival skills. That's what the podcast is going to be about now. Welcome to fucking my prepper station with David Chasteen. Oh, my God. Maybe I'll consider it. Maybe I'll consider either ButcherBox or suicide. I mean, there's only two options really anymore. It's like, are you going to order meat in the mail or are you going to kill yourself? That's all you have left. It's like, where am I going to get vegetables? Is there a vegetable box? Is there a fruit box? Can I get fruit shipped to me in the mail? Maybe I'll get a vitamin supplement. Maybe I'll get like, is there a take a pill is food company yet? I mean, if coronavirus is this, it's like every week I want 10 masks, my everyday meal, handful of pills, and a bunch and a clip of a magazine to shoot off the neighborhood Antifa. That's what I need. That's the subscription-based model that I want to get. Maybe I'll start that. It's like, look, every week I'll send you 18 rounds of 9mm ammunition. I'll send you 3 apples, 10 steaks, and a fucking bag of potatoes. That's what we'll do. And it's called a kill yourself box. It's a horrible name. Maybe I'll think of something else. Maybe it's like I'm normally pretty good with the names, but no, we'll leave it. I'll leave it to the investors on that one. But you probably can't call it commit suicide, a subscription service. 1-800 kill yourself. Is that 1-800 contacts? That's a business. We do 1-800. It's all over. How about that? Look, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank everybody for coming out of the podcast again.
Everybody's so wonderful. I mean, goddamn, we're going to do the podcast every week. And no matter what, I'm bringing it to you. I'm not going to put off doing the work anymore. Even if I fucking sit and rant and do nonsense. You know what's not good is to hear an open mic for 1 hour. And no one will sit and listen to it for that long. Unless you're somebody that's like weird and trying to stalk me and get to know me in a weird way. Which is like, I'm leaving myself open to that, I guess, at this point. So, if you want to be one of those people, I'll take whatever I can get right now. Just subscribe to the podcast. If you want to stalk me and you want to get to know stuff that you shouldn't be able to know about me, go ahead and subscribe, and I'll tell it to you for free on here. And keep a lookout. Soon we're going to be having a Patreon, which is going to have premium episodes on it. Soon the solo episodes are going to exclusively be on the Patreon. And then you're only going to get guest episodes for free on YouTube. And we'll be on the podcast app. We'll be on Spotify. We'll probably be on a couple of podcast apps. But typically what we want you to be on YouTube. We want you on Apple. We want you on Spotify. And fuck all the other shit. That's if you're on a Google phone, on an Android, don't get it on Apple. Get it on Spotify. That's what we need. And we want you to subscribe and please share on Facebook. Please take it and send it to somebody. If you thought this was stupid and you hated it, send it to somebody that you think is stupid. So you're a fucking stupid person. You'll enjoy this. And send it to them. And tell them, man, check out this guy's stupid fucking, you're a fucking stupid idiot, and we want you to hear the stupid idiot stuff for stupid idiots. And that's what we're going to do here for you. We're going to do whatever you think we do. We'll continue to do it, and we'll improve on it. So help us grow the podcast, and we love you. This is My Room, episode 5. We'll see you later.